Hello everyone. Welcome back into Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, here gathering the most important things that are happening in crypto today so that you stay informed. Remember to hit the like button if you enjoy these videos. Remember to subscribe if you're new to the show, and remember to hit that bell icon if you wanted to get a notification whenever we go live and talk about this stuff as it comes out throughout the week. I apologize I wasn't able to put out a video yesterday. I did have a concert that I was performing in, and it took up a lot of my day, and I was just pretty tired at the end of it to do one at night. But anyway, we're back finishing up the week. It is Friday, February 7th, 2025. Let's start by looking at the prices. We have the overall market caps for crypto down 2.9% to $3.227 trillion. A lot of fears that are beginning to surface from retail mostly, excuse me, that maybe this is the end of the bull run. On one side, you have folks who think it is all going to be going down. On the other side, you have folks who are saying it's really just for the meme coins and maybe a move back to fundamentals. So only time will tell. Anything could be true. We have Bitcoin at $96,231.00 up. I'm sorry, down 0.4%. It had a bit of a rebound today following a jobs report that came out. It was, we'll look at that in a little bit. I believe I pulled that up for you guys. Also, Ethereum at $2,603.33, down 3.1%, down 22.3% over the last 7 days. Ouch. Just there, like pretty much with XRP, which is also down 22% over the last 7 days. But it's not too surprising that XRP dropped off after some of the recent euphoria. But Ethereum taking such a smash when it did not have nearly the kinds of gains that you saw with XRP is disappointing for holders, I'm sure. But yeah, plenty of coins taking a hit. You look at some of these meme coins like Dogecoin down 26.3% over last week, and Cardano, dang, I guess it was probably some buying leading up to that hard fork that happened recently to decentralized governance. That is now down 26.4% over the last week. This is kind of in line with a lot of these 30% dips that we do tend to get during a bull run. So until we see like 60% plus dips, I suppose, and really we're talking like 30% in the blue chip cryptos. We're almost there with Ethereum at 22.3%. Once we get, I guess, to like the 40% drop region, that's when I would probably be concerned. But for now, we're just going to continue to follow this market. Gas prices are pretty cheap after the gas limit increase for Ethereum, down at 1.255 Gwei. So this is why Bitcoin had this spike and to almost $100,000 again, and then dropped back off. Had to do with a less hot than expected number of jobs that were created. The U.S. added 143,000 positions they announced last month, short of the expected 169,000. And so less jobs mean less hotter economy. Potentially, this is one of the things that the Federal Reserve looks at when determining whether to raise rates, keep rates the same, or lower rates. And pretty much it looks like rates are expected to stay exactly where they're at after getting this number. So the chance of a rate cut at the meeting in March has a chance of just 8.5% in happening, down from 14.5% before the jobs release that came out today. And I guess part of the reason that folks are expecting less of a chance of rate drops from the Federal Reserve has to do with the unemployment rate, which fell to 4%. Below expectations of 4.1%. In other words, less people filing for first-time unemployment, and the economy potentially looking better as a result of it, or hotter rather as a result of it, and therefore the Fed will pretty much keep things just how they have been. So that's where we're at on the more macro level, I guess, here stateside. We had the release of Alexei Pertsev. He was a developer of Tornado Cash, which was a smart contract, you could call it, mixing service that would obfuscate your history for the most part, the history of various coins. You would throw in your Ethereum tokens into the smart contract for a certain amount of time, and it would get spit out that same amount to you after a certain amount of time that you could specify. And then those would be kind of similar like to when you deposit to an exchange and then you get spit out from the exchange, but even more private in a way. So it had a lot of adoption from political activists. Of course, there are others like money launderers who probably used it, North Korean hacking groups. But yeah, Alexei has been in jail since, I believe, 2 years now. And he was denied release in 2024 last in November when the judge had blocked the release of that. However, he has been released. He announced today, dear friends, on Friday, Friday the 7th, I'm such an American, Friday the 7th of February at 10 a.m. I will be free. It is not real freedom, but it is better than prison. Today, a Dutch court suspended my pre-trial detention under the condition of electronic monitoring. This will give me a chance to work on my appeal and fight for justice. Thank you to everyone who supported me and who made this possible. And definitely a lot of folks in crypto who have been trying to root for his release, such as Joel Valenzuela, who wrote amazing news. We won't stop until you're free. You can even see Vitalik's dad down here, who also commented. A little party face emoji and a high five. So I think the community at large is quite happy to see this because of the way that this would have affected the precedents for future immutable code that is ran. This article delves into some of the details here on Cointelegraph. He was found guilty in this Dutch court of money laundering in May 2024. They sentenced the developer to 5 years and 4 months in prison. But I remember while I was doing this show, hey, good to see you guys. Hey, Mindset Virals, thank you for joining. Paponaya, Validator ETH. Sorry, I haven't noticed the chat, but thank you guys so much for making it out. Anyway, he had been, I remember, detained for a time before they even brought charges to him. I don't know if it was months, many months, if not, I felt like a year at least before they gave him that sentencing. But anyway, officially May 2024, he was found guilty of money laundering. He's trying to appeal that, of course. This is why he has been released, to kind of set up his appeal. But it's crazy, right? The Dutch court officials found Pertsev guilty of money laundering, despite the developers, such as Alexei, of the Tornado Cash software having no control over the funds that passed through the protocol and had no really ownership of the protocol itself. They just simply wrote code. So, things are changing, I think, a little bit better for Tornado Cash and this kind of software. We had a win in the U.S. District Court for the West District of Texas that overturned Tornado Cash sanctions recently. I covered that earlier. And the U.S. Fifth Circuit Appeals Court in November 2024 ruled that OFAC exceeded its congressional authority in sanctioning Tornado Cash's immutable contracts. These contracts, which are lines of immutable code, were not property and could not be owned. So you can't really charge him with money laundering when he did not money launder any money at all and had no control of the money that was on his platform directly. So I think positive in that front, and I'm happy to hear of his release personally. Yahoo Finance is reportedly blocking press releases from crypto companies. Yeah. So this is interesting to me, right? As we see crypto kind of getting more adoption, finally getting its legs underneath it when it comes to politicians, financial institutions, nation states, you still have Yahoo Finance out here reportedly blocking crypto companies' press releases that are showing up on all sorts of newswire websites outside of Yahoo Finance. So this controversy to light when BTCS, I believe I had covered that particular press release earlier in the week. But anyway, they noticed that press release was not appearing on Yahoo Finance despite being distributed through major wire services. This is something that other crypto-focused companies such as Marathon Digital Holdings, Riot Platforms, Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, and TerraWolf, and Argo Blockchain have all been reportedly unable to get their announcements displayed on Yahoo Finance. So really some sort of censorship, it seems, coming out here against even publicly listed crypto companies, which is insane, which have a $212 billion combined market cap here, according to cryptoslate.com. So BTCS apparently thought that maybe the issue was some sort of technical glitch and oversight. When they sought more information from Globe Newswire, it turns out that Globe Newswire confirmed that Yahoo Finance evidently chose not to display crypto-oriented announcements. Unfortunately, wrote Globe Newswire, unfortunately, Yahoo Finance maintains a policy of not publishing crypto-related news or announcements. This policy is consistent across the industry and applies to all crypto-focused topics, including blockchain-related events such as fireside chats that were described in that particular release. And Charles Allen, the CEO of BTCS, said, "We believe Yahoo Finance is systematically excluding all press releases from publicly traded blockchain companies, effectively censoring content from an entire industry. Shareholders rely on credible, authoritative sources like Yahoo Finance for timely and accurate information. It is vital that such platforms maintain open and transparent channels of communication, ensuring that all parties in the investment community can equally benefit from timely and comprehensive news." And then this article goes into how freedom of speech does not translate over to private platforms such as Yahoo Finance. So Yahoo Finance doesn't have to mandatorily release these things. They can choose what press releases they want to publish on their website. So there could really be no sort of legal way to get around this. But really troubling, I would say, to see from Yahoo Finance, who so many do see as a trusted source and may have to really switch as a provider of their relevant news content if they're not getting that even publicly traded information, which is wild. I know, like for myself, when I first started doing crypto YouTube videos, on my old channel, I would early on advertise my show. That eventually changed when Google announced a policy that only if you had specific licenses, financial licenses with crypto, and they were able to verify that on Google, would I or anybody else be able to advertise that on that platform or their platforms. And so it basically made a situation where unless you're Coinbase, you cannot advertise on the platform, but you still have so many scammers who are getting their videos out there and duping folks. So I think Google should try to consider revising their policy. They probably won't, but at least it was the case where if you were a publicly traded blockchain company, you could advertise on Google. But Yahoo has not really changed anything in regards to trying to block all crypto press releases. So I just want to bring that up a little bit if that's somewhere that you look for to get some of your information. Hey, thank you, Mindset Virals, for reminding everyone to hit that like button. It means a lot, man. And definitely do that, guys, if you enjoy the show. Japan's financial regulator asks Apple and Google to block unregistered crypto exchanges. Uh-oh. It looks like we are having an issue here with the stability of the internet connection. I think the connection seems to be getting better. I might have to pause the video if it's not recovering. Let me know if everything is getting better on your side. I'll be right back. I'm going to stop the stream and start it right back up again. Let me see if that works out. All right. It may be the case that we're having some real technical issues, I guess here locally. I'm plugged directly into my router, so it should not be Wi-Fi or anything like that. But yeah, let me just kind of, I guess, breeze through the video. I don't know if everything is fine for you guys. It looks like we might be dropping some frames here. Hopefully it's enough. It's not enough that you cannot hear the content. But we will continue, and maybe it'll get fixed as we go on. So Japan's Financial Services Agency has announced that they want Apple and Google to block on their platforms on Android, on the Play Store, and on the App Store on Apple to block these various exchanges that are not licensed to operate in Japan: Bybit, MEXC Global, L Bank Exchange, KuCoin, and BitGet. This was reported by the Nikkei site in Japan, and it looks like we've already had Apple basically stopping Japanese folks from being able to download these apps in Japan. However, if users have already downloaded these exchanges apps, they will still be able to engage with the app from my understanding, but they will not be able to download it. Google has not really taken them off just yet and hasn't responded to commentary, but likely these exchanges will no longer be available in Japan. These are exchanges that people, oh, thank you, Mindset. These are exchanges where a lot of people go to get coins they might not be able to pick up in the officially licensed and regulated exchanges per jurisdiction. It might be because they have more lax know your customer restrictions and so on. But apparently Japan has not been able to get these particular exchanges to comply with the mandates of the Financial Services Agency. So those will be taken offline, those apps in those respective app stores, already on Apple and soon to be Google, it looks like. Wanted to give you a heads up on that. Costco has announced that they're going to put a Bitcoin ATM by the company LibertyX in every single store in all of the 624 stores that are in the United States. So yeah, you'll be able to walk into these stores, go up to this ATM and pick up some Bitcoin. Many people, it could be their first exposure to Bitcoin. Maybe they just shop at Costco, try to get them good deals, and maybe it'll encourage them to want to look into it, especially considering that, and I haven't confirmed this for myself, that LibertyX seems to take less fees and charge less of a premium as many other Bitcoin ATM operators all around the world. The U.S. is the leader when it comes to the number of Bitcoin ATMs that exist, according to Coin ATM Radar. Almost 30,000 Bitcoin ATMs that are here in the United States. Then you have, following the U.S. in the leaders in the top 5, you have Canada, Australia, Spain, and Poland. El Salvador is number 6, 215 different Bitcoin ATM locations. So yeah, I think this is pretty good news. Hopefully these fees are low. I know I've seen Bitcoin ATMs, and every time I go to one of these Bitcoin ATMs, as they started to pop up when I was living in Los Angeles and when I went to Vegas, I remember those premiums are insane. They'll tell you that the price for Bitcoin right now is $130,000 a Bitcoin instead of like $96,000, which is where it's at. I was frequently seeing a 30% plus premium spread from the actual spot price to what they were announcing on their ATMs, which to me was a really bad look on Bitcoin. It's just a straight up scam. I don't know how they allowed these things to operate. There should really be limits on the account of on the what these premiums could be, considering how many other things they regulate to try to help folks and investors, right? Anyway, I think overall it's probably good news. More and more Bitcoin springing up for people to get the opportunity to pick it up if so they choose. And speaking of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong said this on Twitter: if you think of Coinbase like a bank, we now hold about $0.42 trillion in assets for our customers, which would make us a 21st largest bank in the US by total assets and growing. I'm thinking maybe like he had this thought because of what we had seen recently in that press release by Telcom saying that they were going to be the first out of Nebraska regulated crypto bank, where yeah, we kind of already have crypto banks. Isn't Coinbase basically a crypto bank? So I kind of see where Brian Armstrong is going with this. He said, if you think of us more like a brokerage, we'd be the 8th largest brokerage today by assets under management. If you think of us like a payments company, to be honest, I'm not sure where we rank on that list. There are various ways to measure it, but there were about $30 trillion in total stablecoin payments last year. Not all of those were goods and services, though. The point is, with crypto, the line between these categories is blurring. There are many legacy reasons that these are separate in the traditional financial system. And not all of them are good reasons. Why does the money you spend lose value instead of growing in value like an investment? Why does your checking account not earn yield like a savings account? Or better yet, like short-term treasuries. Many people use Coinbase to invest, but also to spend, to get a loan, etc. In the updated financial system, you will have a single primary financial account, which serves all these functions. A greater percent of global GDP will run on more efficient crypto rails over time. We'll have sound money, lower friction transactions, and greater economic freedom for all. So kind of setting his sights on the horizon when more and more people might use his platform or other platforms. that are similar to that, which, yeah, allow you to stake, allow you to use something like the Coinbase card, to use like a debit card and get money back in purchases, to use it as a learning tool. It really is a huge platform, and it goes almost beyond a bank. So definitely more of what I would like to see in the future for sure. I just wanted to share that with you guys. And now we get into all the different states. Hey, what's going on, Nebiosa, in Belgrade, Serbia? Dude, that must be such a nice place to live. I would love to visit. So much culture and rich history there, man. Yeah, maybe one day. And thank you for joining us today, my friend. So we're going to get into these various states and what's going on with these Bitcoin reserve bills, because the news continues to roll out. So here, Dennis Porter, he is the CEO and co-founder of the Satoshi Act Fund, wrote that the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill has officially passed the Senate in the state of Utah. The bill now moves in. It passed the House in the state of Utah, and now it moves into the Senate for the next vote. And then I believe after that, it would be the legislative branch. So really the governor would then have to sign it, and then it would become law. And it seems that Utah is in the lead here with regards to having a strategic Bitcoin reserve now that that has passed the House. And I don't know that they're actually in the lead, because from my understanding, Arizona has already passed the Senate and now has to pass the House, so kind of like the reverse. But those are really the leaders right now that you're seeing out here. We also have Missouri State Representative Ben Keithley introducing a bill to create a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Fund that would go into an effect on August 28th, 2025. This bill creates the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Fund and allows a state treasurer to receive, invest, and hold Bitcoin under certain circumstances. So Missouri now joins the list of states proposing this. Also Maryland. So Maryland State Delegate Kaylin Youth introducing the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act of Maryland. So effective date for this one would be October 1st, 2025. So, I mean, like, we're hearing these dates, and it seems to be really in the last part of the year after August and October, these potentially going into law and able to accrue Bitcoin kind of gives us the opportunity to get involved with Bitcoin before potentially we get some really good headlines towards the end of the year. This is the kind of thing that leads me to believe that we're not starting a bear market just yet. Bitcoin's still hovering around $100,000 and not giving that up very much. Folks out there noticing, however, that there does seem to be a lot of whale action going out here in regards to destroying leverage traders. So pretty much that. I think setting up really a foundation here to move forward from where we're at. But this is going to be, I think, a big thing, a big set of headlines are going to be coming out towards the end of the year. So this is going to be establishing the Maryland Bitcoin Reserve Fund to serve as a reserve asset for the state through the investment of Bitcoin, and authorizing the state treasurer to invest the funds obtained by the state through the enforcement of certain gambling violations in Bitcoin. So yeah, taking the funds that have been confiscated from people for gambling in order for the state to gamble. I don't know. I'm just messing around here. I think it's less of a gamble with Bitcoin, but you get what I'm saying here. It's cool for the state to do it. It's cool for the state to run lotteries and whatever, but God forbid somebody else try to do something set up in similar format. It's cool for the Fed to print money, but God forbid you try to counterfeit $1, you'll be locked up for eternity. So Czech president signed a law removing the capital gains tax on Bitcoin after 3+ years of holdings. This was reported by Bitcoin Magazine. So if you're living in the Czech Republic, you hold Bitcoin for more than 3 years, you don't have to pay a capital gains tax. I think I'm going to be moving to the Czech Republic. Sounds pretty great. And then you have the central bank governor also in the Czech Republic that we've been talking about on the show quite a bit, getting ready to embrace Bitcoin in a big way in digital assets. And now you see that the president is also seemingly embracing Bitcoin investment for its citizens out there. And you can see how this is kind of trying to become like the new crypto capital in a different way than like Salvador, which buys 11 Bitcoin at a time. They're really opening it up here for folks to be able to engage with Bitcoin and other things potentially going forward in Czech Republic. So really nice development, I would say. And I would like to see more do the same. Aussie, what's up, man? A pullback, yes, but I would be surprised if this is the end of the cycle. Not advice. Yeah, good point. Everything I say here for sure is not advice, and thank you for reminding me to include that caveat here, Aussie. But I do agree with you. I'm glad we're in line with that kind of reasoning, that we will see these pullbacks. They're to be expected. Nothing goes up in a straight line. And if we know anything from Bitcoin volatility history and crypto volatility history, pullbacks are just to be expected and normal. They build their stomach. Ethereum faces intense competition from other networks, JP Morgan. So in this recent report that they put out, they talk about the underperforming of ETH relative to Bitcoin, relative to other coins. It's lagging the growth of competitors such as Solana. The bank said that they lack a narrative, like you see a compelling narrative like Bitcoin has, that, you know, the benefits of its perception as a store of value and as a digital gold. They talk about how Ethereum is having competitive pressures from decentralized applications that are migrating from Ethereum over to, I guess you call them rival networks, to other application-specific chains that have better performance, perhaps lower fees, something that both developers enjoy as well as the users. And I thought this was interesting. I bring this up as well because this article, because of this. Uniswap, I had missed this news completely. So really the largest, most adopted decentralized exchange on the Ethereum network is going to be moving over to a layer 2 network, which could be removing fees as well and demand in that way away from layer 1 ETH, as it moves to this new Unichain that they have unveiled back in October, it looks like. It's going to bring the network, or Uniswap, faster, cheaper transactions with more liquidity. So going down from like 12 second a block times on Ethereum and higher fees down to like millisecond speeds that will be basically instant for users. Again, I think a win for users, but you can see why JP Morgan is concerned that it will lessen Ethereum activity overall on the main network, which could lower transaction fees and validator revenue. So yeah, as I may have seemed quite biased toward Ethereum, I do like to bring you guys the bad news as well as the good news here, so you guys can make the decisions for yourself. And really, this is the first that I hear about this new Unichain thing that's coming up. So I'll be following that as it comes out. And it looks like on Unichain, you will be able to stake Uni tokens and use that to validate the network. So that's interesting as well, and potential new revenue source for users. They went into a pilot program back in October with that Unichain. It finishes here, this article on CoinDesk referencing the JP Morgan report on Ethereum, by saying that the Ethereum ecosystem still dominates the stablecoin, decentralized finance, and tokenization spaces in spite of these challenges. Not for long is what rivals would probably say. I guess we will see. And some thoughts here from Chris Dunn. This 2-year crypto bull market has been very simple, but most people screw it up. It's mostly been a Bitcoin market, except for a handful of alts that outperform Bitcoin in the short run. The meme coin super cycle BS was designed for exit liquidity and to create bag holders. Absolutely. To rug pull plenty of folks while a few benefit at the top. Most alts are in a bear market again after a brief 30-day alt season. So it looks like he thinks that alts are in a bear market and Bitcoin is the place to be. So everything I've been preaching for years still holds true. Trade alts to accumulate Bitcoin and other non-crypto quality assets. Meme coin cult members will lose everything. Diversification in crypto is a fool's game. 95% of traders will lose to 5% of pros. 99% of alts will eventually go to zero. So stack sats, trade alts to increase fiat capital buckets. Don't believe the BS and adopt an adversarial mindset because everybody's trying to steal from you. Don't trust, verify. Some good thoughts for sure there. I do agree that 99% of all coins over the long term will go to zero, and it's probably 99.998% of meme coins that will eventually go to zero. So hold those bags, knowing and being aware that is probably the case. I think a lot of people realize that a lot of the game is to try to hold Bitcoin. It tends to go down the least, especially during a bear market. And during this bull market, it's been very surprising to see how much it has rallied as well versus these alts. So it's proven to be the safest place to be, no doubt, for folks in crypto. Diversifying, try to buy a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a true gamble to pick the right thing at the right time for the most part. And so Bitcoin is, as I've always said, the number one place that I recommend people to get started in. And it seems to be like the number one place to just stay in above all, considering how this market is going. I don't feel like it's over just yet. So we'll see where this ultimately ends up, what ends up happening to altcoins, what kind of folks get rich on meme coins from here on out. But I'm feeling like a lot of this meme stuff probably did reach a peak here with the Trump and Melania coin manias that came out. But I frequently get surprised in crypto, so what the heck do I know? Thank you, Mindset. I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you for that donation, $11.99, and the first, I believe, donation from you. Thank you so very much, man. Hope you're doing well, and I wish you really well on your crypto ventures. And I'm happy to be one place that you could get some information as well. Thank you for supporting the show. Matt Hugan said there's an absolutely massive disconnect between retail and professional sentiment in crypto right now. Retail sentiment, the average person, is the worst it's been in years, sentiment for them, while professional investors are extraordinarily bullish. It's like living in two completely separate worlds. I feel that so much, like when I'm covering this news on these state treasuries and these bills, and I'm talking about these financial institutions that are testing rails and programs, and big investors who are now getting behind Bitcoin. Even Trump, who poo-pooed Bitcoin early on in cryptos, getting behind them. And it does feel like there is a disconnect here that is like living in two worlds. One that seems to be super bullish and one that seems like super bearish. And I wonder how that will eventually end up. Overall, I think that the professional investors are right here and everyone should be bullish, because if we zoom out, everyone will win, as long as I guess we're holding Bitcoin and the right things beyond that, whatever that may be for you. And I'll finish here with a quote of the day by Oscar Hammerstein, and I dedicate this to you guys. Thank you for being here as we finish up the week here in crypto. Can't wait to see what next week brings. Love isn't love till you give it away. Take care, everyone. Much love and stay cryptic. Be well. Peace.